Hi, welcome to Salt City Knits. I'm Emily, and this is a podcast all about my making life. And today I have a couple of works in progress to share with you and some shop news and a little bit of a life update. So let's get started right in. But first off, let's talk about where you can find me, and then we'll talk a little bit about our knit along that is currently happening. Make along, not a knit along, a make along. So first off, you can find me on Yarnbrary.com. That's where all my yarn and most of my patterns are. You can also find all of my patterns on Ravelry under Salt City Knits, and I'm on Instagram as Salt City Knits and Yarnbrary. So our knit along is our make along. Our make along is called Friends That Craft Together, and it is being co-hosted by myself and by Kelly Lay from Lay Family Yarns. And the idea is that we find those precious skeins that we may have been saving, waiting for the perfect project. And you get them out and you use them and you make something with them. And you can knit them, you can crochet them, or maybe it's not yarn, maybe it's some fiber that you've been saving and you want to spin with it. But whatever your fiber craft is, we want you to be able to get out those precious things that you've saved and use them. And then you can enter your finished objects, or there's also a chatter thread on Ravelry, or you can share on Instagram using the hashtag Friends That Craft Together. And you'll be entered in to win a prize. So Kelly and I will both be dyeing skeins of yarn, colorways based on this graphic that is our make along graphic. And the idea is we'll each have the same kind of general inspiration picture here with the graphic that we designed, but we will have our own takes on it. And so I'm not sure exactly when those are coming up, sometime before the end of November. This make along runs through October and November. And so I'm really excited to see the things that you decide to make with those precious bits that you've been saving. I haven't yet decided what I am going to cast on, just because I haven't had a lot of time to focus on it, but I'm pretty sure what yarn I'm going to be using. And so I will show that to you on our next podcast, on my next episode. But make sure to join in our make along, and we'd love to have you. Life update. I was not able to record last week because I've been dealing with off and on migraines for the last, I've had migraines for a long time, but it's just been bad the last couple of weeks. And I think it's mostly stress related, which is just not fun. But it's definitely been a challenge, and life is just challenging right now. I know many of you, all of us have our times that are like that. So it is what it is. It's just life. But it is hard when you are a creative person and you are in a creative industry to sometimes keep the creativity going, because creativity really thrives in a place of, it thrives when you feel well and when you feel secure and settled and life feels doable. And those things have all not been the case recently. So I don't want to moan. I don't want to whine. We all have our challenges, but I can say it's been a difficult year in general. But I'm loving the fall so much, absolutely enjoying it. And I'm loving my knitting. I'm loving everything that I'm working on. So I'm excited to share that with you. Oh, I feel like I got a hair in my eyelash. Whew. One thing I'm not loving is my hair. I have to say, I am ready to chop it and I'm ready to change it drastically. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's time for a big change. Watch this space. So I don't have any finished objects to show this time because everything that I have finished has been sample knitting for pattern design, and I am not showing it yet. And that also includes some of my works in progress as well. But I have two projects I'm excited to share with you. One is my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl, and one is my little vest for my little grandson for Christmas coming up. So I've talked about both of these in the past on this podcast in my last episode. I don't remember if I showed any in progress on my grandson's vest or not. So let's just talk about that one first. So if you've watched past episodes, you know I had started an all over cabled vest for him. And the pattern was really frustrating. It was called the Small Things Vest, or I think, yeah, Small Things Vest. Excuse me. And in the end, I decided that even though I was finally able to figure out how to knit it, despite some challenges with the pattern, I decided that the fit was not going to be on. So I changed my mind and I decided to knit the Peanut Vest by Tin Can Knits, but I am using that pattern for all the sizing and the instructions there, but I am not doing the colorwork charts included in the pattern. Instead, I have used a chart, one of the cards from the winter doodle deck from Pacific Knit Co. So this is where we are on his little vest, and I think it's so cute. At first, I was going to do multiple charts on the body. And in the end, I just decided I really love just this one chart on it. So that is what I've decided to do. The pattern calls for DK weight yarn. And I had already been using this yarn, which is a fingering weight. And so I just am holding it double. So the base yarn is my Eliot colorway, as in George Eliot, who wrote Middlemarch. And this is Parchment. And isn't that just fun? So I'm holding both those yarns double, pulling from the inside and outside of the balls. And I'm actually done now with the Parchment. That's all I'm going to use of it. It's just that little bit. So I think it turned out so cute. I love this kind of Argyle style color work. I just think it's darling. So now I'm just in the knit up to the place where I divide in the arms, for the armholes. And I think it just turned out so cute. It's a fun pattern too, because just color work is so fun and it just knits up so fast. I made sure to hold my Parchment color, which is the white, down and to the left. I do two-handed management of my yarn in color work. And so my hand that I use, my my color that I knit Continental with is my dominant color. It's the one that's going to stand out the most. It's going to show up the best in the color work. And then I hold my background color in my right hand, which is my typical way of knitting. I flick when I knit. And so that works really well to make sure that that color stands out. Isn't that fun? I really love it. And it's going to be so squishy and delightful. I love seeing the floats. Aren't they fun? I always catch my floats. That's one thing I find, is that knitting two-handed makes it so easy to catch your floats. It's just really easy. You just do a little maneuver and your yarn doesn't get twisted, and it's just great. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that pattern. I've had to put it aside for a little bit because, like I said, I'm working on some sample knitting and the mystery knit along, but I got all the color work, which is the funnest part, done. So, by the way, I have to show you this bag. This is one of my most treasured bags. Several years ago, I did a trade with Oh my gosh, why did my brain just go completely blank? Sherry, Sherry Iris. And this is the bag that I received from her, and it is so sweet. It's just this linen bag with this beautiful embroidery. The earth laughs in flowers. Oh, isn't it so pretty? I love it so much. Absolutely adore it. And then it has this Liberty lining. It's one of my favorite bags. So beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about the Stephen West mystery shawl, the Go Dynamo shawl. I am absolutely enjoying this one, but I am behind. I have knit clue 1 and I've knit clue 2. I haven't even touched clue 3. And a new clue, the last clue is coming out in 2 days. It's Tuesday. So this coming up Thursday, clue 4 is coming out. I haven't even started on clue 3. I just haven't even been able to touch it. So first off, I'm assuming if you're gonna watch this section that you are okay with spoilers. And second of all, yeah, it doesn't include clue 3. So this is where I am. It's always so hard, it's big. So hard to show it. But I had so much fun doing the brioche. And this bubble stitch is really fun. It's all ready to go. I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be up. This will be bottom. I know it is. We're gonna be putting a border along here. And then I suspect that we will be picking up these stitches from here to here and then knitting a top portion of our shawl. That's my guess. But oh my goodness, it's so fun. It's so visually interesting with these scoops and then these striped wedges and the bubbles and the brioche. I really love the use of the 2 colors together. It's just so fun. Just been a really fun one. There hasn't been a single section, which I have had in almost every Stephen West shawl, not everyone, but almost everyone, where I go, why is he having us do that? That is going to be ugly. And most of the time it turns out to be kind of interesting and cool. And I go, okay, well, I can see that. But I have just instead, every single part, I'm like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. I'm just really enjoying it. I even like the wrong side. The wrong side, you know, you can tell it's a wrong side, but it's fun to see how the pink shows up more on the back than it does on the front. Like you can see the difference in the dominance there, the colors. And I love the colors that I chose. I just have had so much fun with this. The brioche was super simple brioche. So if you've never done brioche before, this was a fun one to do it with because it's very straightforward. There's only a few increases and they're all done at the ends of the rows, which makes it really easy to keep track of them. Yeah, it's just been such a blast. I just have had not as much time because I've been working so much. And so I'd really love to spend some time. I might be able to do it this evening. I'm hoping this evening I could spend some time and start into the next section. The next section will be worked horizontally this way, and we're doing an applied border. And the border is going to look like wedges that go this way and then inverted wedges back and forth like that of our colors. So for me, it'll be the navy blue and then pink and then navy blue and then pink. And the navy blue wedges will kind of make little scallops, which I think is going to be super cute. I just am going to have to sit down and start it. And once I start it, then it'll be easier, you know, kind of once I get into it and like it's in my head, then it'll be easier for me to kind of pick it up whenever I can knit for a few minutes. Right now, in order for me to get started on it, I really need to be able to give it some of my attention. I can't just pick it up and work on it for a few minutes. It's going to take some yeah, some attention. And I just haven't had a lot of attention to give it. So I really want to get rolling on that. The nice thing is if it is true that for clue 4, if my guess is right, and we are going to pick up these stitches from there to where? Where did I start that? From there to there. If we're going to pick up these stitches and start putting on a top portion of our shawl, if I don't get to any of the border by then, I think it'll still be okay, because I could literally leave this on the needle and just use a different needle and pick up and still knit the clue 4 and then come back and do clue 3, because it'll be in a different part of the shawl. So the only difference would be is if for some reason clue 4 actually goes back and picks something up from clue 3, then I wouldn't be able to do that. You know, if I will have had to complete clue 3 entirely in order to do clue 4, then that wouldn't work. But I still think that's what he's going to do. I mean, Stephen West pretty much always finishes his edges really nicely. He uses I-cord edges for almost everything that I've ever done anyway. And I know that the border is going to be finished off. This bottom part is going to be all finished off, and the stitches are all going to be off the needles by the time we finish it. So I can't imagine that he's just going to leave this raw edge that most of us would look at and consider just totally fine. But it's not consistent with everything I've seen from him that he would leave that without an I-cord edge. So I'm pretty sure we're picking those stitches up. But anyway, so much fun. And I think this is going to be one of those that I am going to really use and love. My favorite shawl that I've ever knit by him was the Starflake. And once it gets really cold, like in the winter, I reach for that at least weekly. I don't tend to wear shawls, like my big shawls, every day. I tend to wear them always on Sundays to church in the winter. And I tend to often wear them when I'm going out, like dressing up a little bit more. But I tend to wear long wrap style or cowls. I don't wear a ton of cowls, I'll be honest. More like scarf or wraps, like longer and narrower. Those are the ones that I reach for daily use. They seem to just stay on better. Anyway, but that Starflake I've worn many times since I've knit it, and I have a feeling this one's going to be like that. I think it's going to be large and basically a crescent. Again, these are just my predictions. Large crescent shaped, and the 2 colors means it's not so crazy. Like, it'll be easier to find things to put it with than some of my more eclectically colored shawls projects. So I really love it. Stephen West has included a mohair dare option in section 2. And I do have mohair. This is my mohair color, which I thought went well with my contrast color. And I started out including it in the brioche section. And in the end, I actually took it back out and decided I didn't like it there because I just really love that clean, crisp look of the brioche. And I thought that the mohair just fuzzied it up a little bit and didn't really enjoy it as much. So there was not another mohair option in clue 3 from watching the video and reading the instructions. So there might be in clue 1, but if it's up here, I don't think that I'm going to put it in. I think I'm just going to end up with no mohair in my shawl, which is totally fine because I can think of lots of other things that I would love to include that in. Some hats that I've got in mind and some other things like that. Right now with where I am, this is how much I have left, and that is really very little. I'm less than 20 grams, maybe 12 grams or something of each of my 2 colors of the first ball of each one. And so I will be breaking into the second ball of each one very soon, which is great. Something else I've been doing, by the way, these are a lot of stitches. I'm using a 40-inch cable, and you can see how bunched up it has been on this cable already. And I have found it really convenient. I have two needle sets with 40-inch cables, and I have been knitting from one needle set onto the other needle set and then back. I won't need to do that in this next section because, like I said, it'll be working with just a few stitches at a time as we do an applied border. So I'm going to pull out a DPN and use that to work my stitches rather than using the other needle or a separate fixed circular. I'll probably just use a DPN. But I've liked doing that. It's made my stitches not so smushed together. And that's something that I've done quite a bit. Like if I'm working just shawls or even cardigans with lots and lots of stitches on them, then I often will use a second circular needle to knit from one onto the other. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So that is where I am on that. And if you believe it or not, that's all I have that I can show because all of my time has been going into sample knitting for a design that's coming up. And it's really fun and I'm excited to share it with you, but I will not be sharing it for a while because it is part of our Orchard House boxes that will be going out here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. So that pattern is in the works and I'm really excited about it. It will go out with the Orchard House boxes. And then after everybody's opened up all of theirs in January is when I will be releasing the pattern and kind of posting about it publicly. So there are no spoilers as the pattern is a big part of the box itself. I'm really excited about these and all of you who have ordered them. I'm so excited to share them with you and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So the only other shop news I have, I have two shop news pieces to share. So one is that my Anne Shirley and Gilbert Blythe sock patterns that went out with the Fall in Love in Avonlea kits are now available. Both of those patterns are now available on Ravelry and on my website, yarnbrary.com. And so you can grab those there. And I just love them. The Anne Shirley pattern has some cables and some little lacy columns and a fun textured stitch around the back and a fun little kind of braided cuff. And I just think it's delicate and fun. And the cable reminds me of Anne Shirley's braids. And then the Gilbert Blythe set has some very handsome textured columns and cables. And if you look closely, the cables have little X's in them. And it reminds me kind of Anne and Gilbert's rivalry in their classes over their academics in math and in literature and so on. So those are the two patterns that I've just released and I love them. I think that especially the Anne pattern is probably my favorite sock pattern I've designed up to this point. Although I'm going to leave that, I'm going to say up to this point. I just really love it. It's so fun and so pretty and way easier to work than it may look for both of those. The patterns are quite simple and easy to learn and memorize. And both of them come in 4 different sizes. They come in let's see if I remember, a 60, 64, 68, and 72 stitch count, which is a small, medium, large, and extra large adult pattern, sizing. So I love them. I think that they just turned out great, and I had a lot of fun designing them. I also think the patterns themselves, like the files, or even the printed patterns, are really pretty, as I've included some fun quotes from the books and things like that. So I enjoyed them a lot. So those are both available now. And in addition to that, we have a new colorway that has come to the shop. Actually, it's a new old colorway. It's one that we had several years ago, but we only had it for a very short time, and I'm so happy to bring it back. This is an addition to our Little House series, and this is called Winter in the Big Woods. And I think it's so perfect for knitting some wintry socks, or maybe a Stansbury shawl, a sock set shawl, anything like that. I love the colors with the very soft main skein and the beautiful greens. Think about like a forest with snow all over it. So I love it. And so this is in the shop now, along with all of our other Little House colorways. I've just been feeling all the Little House vibes lately. Oh, it just fills you up. When life is stressful, something like Little House on the Prairie is one of the best places you can spend your time, and kind of, cozying into some of those fun books about simpler times, simpler times, but not easy times. Life can be hard, but it can still be beautiful. And that is the message I get from those books. So I just love it. So that one is a brand new one. We also have, and I think I may have talked about this before, but we have added a new author's colorway. So now I feel like maybe I have. If I've already mentioned this, I hope you'll forgive me. But we added a new author to our author's color library, and it's Gaskell, as in Elizabeth Gaskell. So how many of you are fans of the book, or maybe the mini series of North and South? Oh, absolutely love that one. So that is, Elizabeth Gaskell is our inspiration for this new colorway, and it reminds me of the sweater that I'm wearing right now. In fact, this is just a commercial sweater that I've had for a while. And as soon as we dyed Gaskell, I said, I have to knit a sweater in this. I have to knit a cardigan. And Richard looked at it and said, don't you already have a cardigan in that color? I'm like, no, I've never knit a cardigan in that color. No, I haven't knit one. I have this one. But I'm like, I think I need one anyway. We are adding so many new colors to our author's line over the next couple of months. We have another new one that'll be coming up in the next week or so. And I also, every time we add a color, I want to make everything in that color, but especially this Gaskell. I absolutely love it. So our author's line, we actually have seven different bases for all of our author's colors, and they're all available all the time. They are dyed to order, but we are fast. So we have our biography sock, which is our squishy 8515 extra fine merino nylon. That's what I'm using for my Stephen West shawl. We have our contemporary sock, which is our 80-20 blend, 2-ply, and that's a lovely one, a little drapier, beautiful for shawls or socks, both are good. We also have our Sci-Fi Sparkle sock, and that one has gold stellina in it. Then we have our classic DK, which is good for socks or anything you would like to make DK. It's a 75-25 blend. And we have our Memoir worsted, which is a super springy, squishy, 100% superwash merino worsted. And then we have our Fantasy Fluff, which is our mohair color, our mohair base. And that's number 6. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and we also have our Romance Cloud, which is our Surrey alpaca silk lace weight base. So for those of you who want to add some floof to your projects, but don't like mohair, we have the Surrey, which is it doesn't have the sheen that you get with a mohair silk blend. Mohair and silk, I don't know if it's showing up in this lighting, but it has a little bit of a lustrous quality to it. But for some people, that can feel a little scratchy. I don't find it scratchy, but I know some people do, especially on their necks. The Surrey has a little bit of a flatter. It doesn't have that same sheen. It's more matte. That's the word I'm looking for. But it is so soft, so dreamy and squishable. So we have all of those bases. All of our colorways are author colorways, of which there are 20 through 23 or 24 different colorways currently in the shop. They're all available at all the times. So great for color work and great for your sweater projects and things like that. So I think that is everything that I wanted to share. This is a short episode for me today. Like I said, a lot of it's just because I can't show things. And honestly, I've been struggling. So it's good for me to even be able to sit down and record. I was thinking today, oh, I really want to record, but there's this part of you that if I'm recording regularly, then it feels natural and easy. I get right into it. I set up easily. My brain clicks into that mode easily. But if I take even a week off, then when I record the next time, I feel like I have to really shift my abilities to, I don't know, share and speak. I can even tell, like, from the beginning of recording this video to now, I've warmed up a little bit. It's kind of interesting how that happens. And it's just kind of the nature of the beast, I guess. But I do much better when I can record really regularly. So I'm hoping I will be able to continue to do that. And thank you to everybody who is so supportive to us. You know, so many of you have really just, I know you've kept Richard and I in your thoughts and in your prayers as we can continue to deal with him being out of work and just, you know, the challenges that we've been experiencing this year because of that. I've just really definitely felt all of your support, and I appreciate it so much. It really means a lot to me. You know, some of you I have met, some of you I haven't, some of you I may never meet, but I still feel like we're a community, and I can definitely feel your love and support. And I hope you can feel mine. I hope you know that I care about you, and I'm so grateful to be able to connect with you. And yeah, it means a lot to me. So thank you for doing that and for being there, for being in my life. All right, I'm going to wrap this up now, and I will talk to you again, hopefully next week, and be able to show you some more colorways and some more progress, hopefully, on my shawl and my little vest. And yeah, I'll talk to you again then. See you soon. Bye-bye.